In a world where tomorrow's blockbusters reign,
three millennials look back on our generation's classics.
on our generation's classics,
And remember. Hey everyone, welcome to Millennials at the Movie House, the podcast where three friends watch our generation's beloved movies of yesterday and review them from our modern adult perspectives. I'm Betsy.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Serena.
And we are back. Season 3, guys.
Season 3, baby.
So exciting.
Welcome to Season 3.
So just a reminder, we are doing things a little bit differently this time around. We are going to focus on our generation's movies.
Millennials at our movie house.
Yes.
Our own house.
Yes. So just a reminder, I feel like I need to say this a million times before the rest of the world catches up. Millennial generation.
They think that term just means child.
Yeah, it's not. Some millennials are 40 years old now.
Yeah.
So the millennial generation, as we are using it, is anyone born between the years of 1981 and 1996. So any movies that those kids grew up with, we add to the list. So,
Which could be broad. It
can be broad.
still could be an older movie that we still watched as children and it has a special place in our hearts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So to start things off, we wanted to begin with a true classic and a movie that we have all seen, which is not a big list. It's a list of one. So
We cross-reference all these movies.
yes, we did. We took some time. Yeah. So we watched Casper.
The friendly ghost.
Friendliest ghost you know.
So, can I interrupt real quick?
Yes.
Did anyone ever watch Casper the cartoon?
No.
There was a comic, and then there was like 50s cartoons of
was there?
Casper.
Okay.
Anyway, I I had to call my brother because I'm like, why do I know the theme song to Casper they do a theme song in this movie that's like the rock and roll version of it.
right.
And I'm like, why do I know the traditional Casper theme song
Yeah.
so well in my head?
Yeah.
And it's because we had a VHS tape of one of the 50s cartoons.
Oh, okay.
And he's describing it and I was like, oh, nope.
Good on him for remembering
And
it.
then I went to YouTube and Googled what I think it was called Casper Goes to the Moon or something like that. And all of a sudden these visions came back to me and I was
yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
yep, I definitely grew up watching this. So,
I have a couple of those cartoons where like you don't really have any actual memory. You have impressions of them more than anything else. And so now that YouTube exists, you can go back and watch them and you're like,
yes.
oh my God. It's like an out of body experience.
I'm going to show you this
watching these
picture.
things.
And this is one of those like heffalump and woozles type situations
Oh my God,
where
yeah.
it minorly scarred you and you don't remember it until you see a picture of it again.
Oh my God.
Right? A little bit.
That's not familiar to me at all, but
Oh,
they
right.
look like Ents,
Oh,
honestly.
are those the angry trees?
Yes.
I don't know how I know that. What?
It's these angry trees are like the bad guys in one of the Casper cartoons. Anyway,
I'm thinking of Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
I remember this cartoon, but I don't remember the details.
I mean, it was probably on. We watched a lot of older like Looney Tunes, not just our generation Looney Tunes,
That is
but
true.
like there was a lot of like
We took what we could get for Saturday morning cartoons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I do remember it, and actually, now that I'm looking at it, of course, this is the movie. This is the picture where the inspiration for what he looks like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except for
It is
is it CGI?
It is CGI, and they. Fun fact: this is what I learned about this movie. Is I think it was Spielberg. He was one of the executive producers.
Yeah.
I think it was him who they had originally made Casper look more like the cartoon / comic book figure, but they wanted his eyes looked too dead. They didn't look too they didn't look
That's why they
animated
did
enough.
blue?
They didn't look
Real.
real.
Yeah.
So they gave him more expression, but it did change the iconic look of Casper.
I think that's okay, though.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too. But
Yeah.
that's,
Yep. All right. Well, let me give the facts and figures.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. God, Tracy. All right. So Casper, 1995, directed by Brad Silberling, written by Sherry Stoner, Deanna Oliver, and based on characters created by Joseph Oriola. Starring Christina Ricci, Bill Pullman, Kathy Moriarty, Eric Idle, Malachi Pearson, Joe Nepoti, Joe Alaskey, and Brad Garrett.
I'm sorry, you forgot one very important person.
Who, Devin?
Yes.
Oh
He
God.
was in 2 seconds at the very end.
It was a very important millennial moment for me.
It wasn't his voice.
Well, I will say this.
It was Malachi's
I know.
voice.
I was actually going to say, I noticed the voice was different. When I think Casper, I associate Christina Ricci and Devon Sawa.
Yeah. Yes.
Those are the two that stand out in my head. And even though he's a ghost and it's like a fictional character, I still think it's Devon Sawa.
Sawa, right? Is it Sawa?
I think it's Sawa.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of JoJo Siwa.
All right, well, fine. He's in there too, I guess.
Yeah.
They have a better chemistry
in now and then.
Thank you. You knew what I was going to say.
Yep.
All right. Quick synopsis. Tracy, go.
Okay, so this woman,
Kerrigan.
So her father died, and she's at the reading of his will. And after a whole bunch of animals, she is then left Whipstaff
Manor.
Is it Whipstaff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whipstaff Manor as her,
Inheritance.
And so she gets this manor. She and her personal assistant, her close personal friend.
I kind of got the sense that he was her lawyer, but was super lackey-esque.
Yeah.
So
Very, extremely close friend.
It was, yes.
that was funny.
It was
That was funny.
There was a lot of things that I like.
I am his extremely close daughter.
That goes into, like, as an adult, I'm, like, picking up on completely different jokes than I did as kids.
Exactly.
Anyway, she goes to visit this manor and quickly finds out that it's haunted. So she tries several attempts to, exorcise fix the problem. It doesn't work. And then Casper, who is lonely, sees a television show about the Harveys. Harvey, what's his first name?
Dr. Harvey.
Like an infomercial.
About how he is
He's a ghost therapist.
He's a ghost therapist. I'm sorry, living impaired therapist.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, there's a real
And
term.
the newscaster describes his daughter as a loner, and Casper's like, I need her to be my friend. So he transmits himself to Kerrigan's TV to advertise for this. She sees it. She calls them. He goes there, and they meet the ghosts, and he helps them out. There's lots of adventures in between.
Chaos ensues.
Casper and Kat meet, dance, kiss, the end.
Can I keep you?
Good job.
Okay.
She's actually kind of a creepy line.
I know. I want to delve into that.
I was going to say that.
Because so the line that Serena just said is, can I keep you? And I remember vividly as a child, this being so
Like peak romantic.
peak romance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peak. Like that line, you just,
Heart melting.
right?
Yep.
And then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, what the hell does that even mean?
Right. Like, she's staying
obsessed
forever
with
in the
you.
house?
Right.
Or,
I'm going to haunt you forever.
right.
I'm going to...
Or I'm going to kill you so you can be a ghost with me?
Right.
I didn't think about that.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And then I guess he repeats it because she doesn't know who she's dancing with.
Right. It's
And then-
it's an indicator that she knows
that
it's Casper.
But
It's creepy.
It's
It
cute, but
is.
it's not. And so when we all watched this, I don't know when the last time you both watched it, but
Years. It has been years
we
since I've watched
identified
it.
it's probably not since the 90s,
Yeah.
honestly.
so we identified with the 12-year-olds.
Oh, yeah.
And
'Cause
now watching it, we're not necessarily identifying with the elder
With the father.
father, but
Oh, my God.
It's Little Mermaid all over again, guys.
No. Well, because yeah.
No, because Kat was a responsible
And
person. You never were
that was
like,
very 12-year-old, 13-year-old
yeah.
appropriate.
his first
Even when they were dancing, there was still room for Jesus.
All right. So as, yes.
is his name Pat?
What?
What's Dr. Harvey's first name?
James? John?
James,
James.
because that, how I know that?
Dr.
Because it's Bill
James
Pullman's
Harvey.
middle name.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
love
Have
Bill
you seen
Pullman.
The Sinner?
He's like
No.
Oh.
But I've seen lots of, I love him.
Bill Pullman / Baxton.
Yeah. Love him.
There's
so
something
great.
about Bill Pullman that gives me Robin Williams vibes. Something in his mannerisms. And actually, I couldn't place it for the longest time. So I've seen Casper 100 times probably because we had, the VHS. And I was watching season 2 of The Sinner. I believe it's season 2. And I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
It's Bill Pullman with a beard.
Yeah.
But I couldn't place it in the way he speaks and his mannerisms and the way he acts. I was like, oh my God, this is why I feel like I know this man, because I watched Casper growing up 100 times.
While you were sleeping?
Oh,
the Newsies.
You were sleeping? Oh, Newsies. Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Oh yeah,
of course.
I need to do a full
Spaceballs, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, he's a millennial classic.
Oh, he really is. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, all right. So, how did we like it, guys? As adults.
So it gave me nostalgia vibes.
Of course.
Yep, definitely.
As an adult, I thought there were some plot things lacking.
Holes?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even plot holes. It was just, there was a lot of convenience.
Yeah.
There was a lot of really quick exposition. Okay, boom. We're moving into this part of the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But the pacing I thought was actually really, really good.
Yep.
And I kind of forgave the silliness of the plot and suddenly there's this Lazarus machine that hasn't been mentioned for an hour and suddenly that's the premise. And
so I agree with you. And I was starting to write questions that I was having. Who are these uncles and why?
Oh
all
my
this
God.
kind of stuff.
I had I wrote a dissertation on okay, this family. Why are there 3 adult uncles who all live in the they share a bedroom, but Casper has his own room. Don't know why. Yep. Did they all die in the house, but his parents didn't? Why are they there, but the parents aren't? Yeah. And then Kerrigan's father was sitting on this house for 50 years. Why did he buy it in the first place? Why didn't he fix it up? Why didn't he do anything?
Yeah, but was Kerrigan related?
Was Kerrigan related to this family?
Yeah.
I went into all this history and I'm like, okay, no, none of this matters. Yep. None of this is going to be answered. It's fine.
We're not going to get answers.
So the answer I allowed myself to accept so I can move on from this. Casper doesn't remember who he is until he's given I think it was his toys, the reminders and that kind of thing. And even when James Harvey dies, he doesn't remember even that he has a daughter or who he is until he's reminded.
Yeah.
So I think, this is my explanation for myself, that the uncles and Casper to some point have been dead for so long that they don't really remember who they are. So they've just picked this house. It's fun to haunt. They have a great time. They use Casper as
Cinderella slave.
Yeah.
Well, no, but their names are on the beds.
They could have added that.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I'm sure we could find something online with theories at least.
I don't know. I think it was all added information for the movie. I don't even think this stuff is in the original cartoons or anything either. So I don't know.
No, they added his how he died, Casper. Having said that, he seemed younger than 12.
That was one of my first notes is every time I watch this, I read this kid more as 7.
Yeah.
And it weirds me out. The romance therefore weirds me out because he reads so much younger to me. Intelligence wise, no. He's right. He's a smart kid, great, no problem. It's just the image, the cartoon of him.
He seems like a little kid.
Yeah.
And he sounds younger as a ghost.
All right. So we have a new set of questions this time around. More a little looser, a little easier. We'll get started.
Leisure.
Where were we when, where were you when the movie came out or when you became aware of it? Do you guys have, what's your recollection of your first introduction to this movie?
I can go first for this. So I don't know if I saw it on TV first or if we had the VHS. I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, VHS or TV. We don't know. But I had the VHS at home, and for whatever reason, my brother was always down to watch this movie with me. So I was popping Casper. Any time of the year, doesn't need to be Halloween, could be any time. And I watched it at home in my living room many a times as a young, probably got it soon after it was released. I mean, it came out in 95 so then would it have gone straight to VHS or was it in theaters? We had to wait a little while.
I think it must have been theaters because it was big budget. It was Spielberg and, it wasn't Disney. I keep thinking it's Disney. It's not Disney, right?
I didn't see Spielberg on the...
He was executive producer.
Okay.
But point being, it was a good like compromise movie for everyone to enjoy.
It is. Yeah. And I think I have a reason why you and your brother were both down, because both me and my brother were both down.
Yeah.
It's because it had like slapstick type humor that the boys like. The stinky breath, the eating of the cakes and stuff.
He loved the poop scene.
You know what I mean? All of that the boys loved. But it didn't go over the top because it was written by two females, and it had a little tiny bit of, 12-year-old romance that the girls loved too.
Right.
So it was a good compromise between girls and boys that could go in and love this movie.
And she was a real 90s girl.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I believed that she was that. She was not like that, like overly done up feminine type girl that you see in modern teenager movies. She was wearing flannel. We were talking about that before, and she was wearing flannel.
The fashion, when you see like her classroom, that was the classroom I went to school with. Those were how people acted, how they dressed.
Yep.
Oh, that blonde girl.
Oh, God,
Forgot about her until she came on the scene, and I was like, oh my God.
She was like the it girl when it came to like the brat.
Yes, she was in several movies and played that character.
Yeah.
Yeah. It came out in 1995. I was 10. So, Serena, you must have been 9.
Yep.
I was 7.
Okay.
I was
My brother was
9.
6. So, we must have seen it in theaters because I don't remember going to the movies, but I remember getting the toys from Pizza Hut.
God.
There were puppets.
Oh my
that
God.
They are still in my mom's basement from this movie.
Wow.
Yep. So
Love
we
it.
had the toys from the movie release, and then I think the VHS took a year after that, which we definitely had.
Yeah.
So.
Oh God, do you remember how long it took for movies to come out on? Oh, jeez.
Forever.
Forever. I don't remember not being exposed to this movie. So it was just one of those mainstays. It was just always on TV. I don't think I ever had it on VHS.
Oh, really? You might have watched it at our house.
I might have watched it at your house. That's entirely possible.
We had so many VHSs.
Yeah.
Okay, this
So
is
many.
crazy.
We belonged to a club.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I just don't have good memory. I don't have a good memory, so I don't remember not having this in my world.
Yeah. Well, because we were younger that point, and like I said, I don't remember of seeing it in theaters, but I remember the toys. So
Yeah. The other thing to note for me is I put it on yesterday to watch it, and my mom goes, "Oh my God, I hate this movie." So I think it was never in my house.
Oh, okay.
Because she hated the uncles, she hated the bullying, basically.
Yep.
And she
Yeah.
got, which makes sense. That's totally on brand for my mom. So I don't think I had exposure to it outside of like it was either on ABC Family growing up or, now Freeform. Or maybe I probably watched it at your house, like you said. All right, and so how do we think this held up? Watching it as an adult, would you show your kids this movie?
I would. I think it's fun.
Kids being how old?
I think about 10. I think,
Okay.
or a little bit older, a little bit younger, depending on like the kids. I don't think it was too scary.
No,
because I know a lot of like Disney movies, like kids of friends of mine, it's too scary. I don't think this one's too scary for an older kid. There are a couple of bad words.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So
maybe in the TV version.
the PITCH.
Yeah.
Anyway, point being, that was really the only like no part.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
I wonder like what word she could have used in place of it, like the brute.
I mean, anything. That's what writers are for.
Yeah.
Let's delve in a little bit. Did anyone have like a standout part? I know I don't have like what's your favorite part anymore, but did anyone have any like standout?
Right
Go
off
ahead.
the bat, and I know this is me comparing to watching it in the 90s, but right off the bat, I was like, oh, and you hear them say when she's in the interview with a lawyer, or not the interview, the meeting with a lawyer, Whipstaff Manor in Maine, or maybe it was right after the appointment, and I'm like, Maine. You would think that I would have picked up on this as a kid, but I didn't. And then again, it said Friendship, Maine. And one of the things that I love, obviously local stuff, but when they're driving with the classic station wagon and they're driving into Maine, I mean, it must be up in down East Maine, like the northern part, but like it was so pretty. It was fall. Mm-hmm. There was the ocean. It was beautiful.
It's a rule. Like, haunted house is in New England. Like, them's the rules.
Well, even I think
them's the rules.
I think her dad goes, "Isn't it a nice house?" or something as they're walking up, and she goes, "Yeah, if you're Stephen King."
Right. I wrote that down.
And Stephen King
lives in
Maine.
Born,
That's
raised,
what I
and
was
lives
gonna
in
say.
Maine.
Like all of his stories are based in Maine.
Yeah. Well, so cameos. All of the references, all of the cameos. Definitely never picked up on those as kids.
Nope, no way.
Never. So like
that stood out to me too.
The cameos of Clint Eastwood,
Yeah, love him.
Rodney Dangerfield, Mel Gibson, Father Guido Sarducci, which as an adult I'm like, oh, I know that name. Like,
Right.
yeah, of course, that's an SNL character. No reference point. And then who was the Ghostbuster?
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All these people.
So all these
Ben Stein.
Ben Stein.
big names, right? Big names, but as a 9-year-old or whatever, how old were you?
7.
I was 9 and you
10.
were 10, right? Yeah. Like we're not paying attention to that.
No, that was for the grown-ups.
Yeah.
That was for the parents who were watching this.
And now
Yeah.
we're looking at it with elderly eyes.
Yes. Oh, they even did like Mr. Rogers was on the TV
Yeah.
Yes.
for Casper.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. I saw that.
So my part that kind of stood out, was that the question? Was there were a couple of lines. The "Can I keep you" was there. Buccaneers and buried gold, whipstaff doth the treasure hold.
Yes.
That was like, I remember that a lot.
Yes.
He goes, "What if she likes me? What if she doesn't?" Like his little freak out was cute.
Yeah.
And then when they were talking and she goes, "Can you hurt me?" He goes, "No." "Can I hurt you?" "No." Which isn't exactly true.
No,
'Cause
it's
she
not true.
he drags her out upside down, and I think the 3 uncles kill her dad. So
No, they just let him die.
Oh, okay, fair.
How did they let him die?
He walks into like a manhole or something. He was like construction.
Oh yeah, I'm okay.
Were you?
But-
Yeah.
So I
The
missed
other
a few
part that I actually forgot about until this recent watch was the chitty chitty bang bang aspect of this, where he cooks her eggs.
Okay. So
I love that scene.
more than the poop scene or the eating scene or anything else, the thing that grossed me out when I remember this as a kid was
Wiggly
him
egg?
throwing the pulp against the wall. I don't know why. I do not know why.
I actually appreciated that because I don't like pulp.
I
So
don't
it's-
either, and I think that's why it grossed me out because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
So liquid can go through him, but
I think by choice
he chooses what.
To continue the chitty chitty bang bang aspect is his dad was a crazy inventor. So I think it was called the
Oh my
Get Up-
God,
Get Up
Yes,
the morning. What is it?
Oh God, I remember that scene.
that was listed as one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, the get up and go. I
Get
think
Up and Go machine
Yeah.
or whatever. The shaving, the brushing the teeth, and all that.
none of which
stuff.
really worked.
No.
Like even as for an adult man, like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that probably
would-
didn't actually work for
Yeah,
him.
but that I liked that. It
Yes.
felt like a ride or something
Yeah.
where I could see that. So those were
It was
my.
like something that, how Disney has themed roller coasters.
Yes,
I have
something like
I
that.
always wanted to go on the spiral staircase
Yes.
down into the basement.
Yep.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. That they don't have a ride of that.
No.
But they should. They
Yes.
should create it.
So I remember not like we were talking about this before. You don't remember like things from your childhood, but you remember impressions. The manor, the mansion itself, the architecture, just like makes me feel feelings. Like I love the architecture of this mansion, and I feel like it has. That is when I think of mansions. When I think of like what would your perfect mansion be? That has been instilled at me at such a young age that is where I would, yes. All right. So did anyone have any other like standout like?
I know. I had a note that even though the ghosts were cartoony, I actually bought the special effects.
Same.
I thought they did a really good job of
Yep.
interacting with each other because I hate when you can tell that they're not looking in the right direction or reacting the way one should. But I thought actually that they did a good job.
Their tennis ball acting was really
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Is that what it was? Tennis
Yeah.
ball?
All right. Let's jump back to the questions. How did this affect our generation as a whole? This is like a deep question. It's arguably a deep question.
We're going deep here.
Yeah.
In season 3.
Yeah.
I can't think of how it affected our generation, except I did read an article and
I don't know. You guys got pretty pissed when I didn't have Devon Sawa in.
That's exactly what I'm going to say is that I read several articles because honestly, I was trying to research the "Can I keep you?" Like, is that a meaning that I'm missing, or is that a saying that was said back then? And all references came back to Casper as being the source.
Yeah,
it might not be true, but that's all I could find. And the reason that led me to multiple articles that said it was a sexual awakening for many young girls.
Yeah,
and
because he kissed her cheek.
He kissed her.
Well, yeah,
but. Like it was an adorable. I remember being in love with him as a 10. Like that was what I thought was romantic and like the cute little dancing and stuff. Not quite a sexual awakening, but it was like okay for girls. This was the start of crushes and cute and.
I don't remember being 9 and watching it, but I guess I would have been.
You know, and Christina Ricci to some point is she was a cute 90s normal girl.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah.
I forget how the whole thing wrapped up. I mean, I know I just watched it on the way here.
They just danced.
They danced.
I think they
and
danced.
Casper
He turned into a thing. Then they kissed. Then he was
Amelia.
Everyone ran away.
Yeah.
Amelia came back.
Can we talk about why Amelia was in red though? That was weird to me. She was an angel, or supposedly but she wasn't. She was in red, not white. I just thought that was interesting.
Maybe because Casper was white.
Maybe because there was so much white. I mean, and Christina Ricci was wearing white for the costume.
That's true.
So there was that going on at the same time as Amelia was upstairs, and could resemble a deep love, like a Valentine's Day red.
Fair,
yeah,
fair.
And I don't think really sweet when she put her hand on James's face.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like now at 35, like I'm like, oh, I do that.
I feel like we didn't talk about that, but the reason he was a psychologist, and the reason he became into the paranormal was because his wife died, and he needed to see her again, and he was convinced that she was a ghost because she had unfinished business.
Yeah,
which I didn't understand what the unfinished business was. Was it having a husband and daughter?
Well, that her daughter was like she doesn't have, and she was right. Amelia was like, I don't have unfinished business.
Yeah,
you know.
We have rules when it comes to ghosts, like not rules, but accepted, like when you're going into a ghost story of a movie, there are assumptions that you can make, they're non-corporeal, but they can be corporeal, like if they're whatever, or, but anyway, one of them is they're stuck where they died or they're stuck in a specific location. And that was not in this, in this movie, Casper goes to a hotel, and Amelia, he's looking for Amelia anywhere.
Yeah. She's out there somewhere.
Right. I'm like, what? It's unique. It's unique in that sense. And I'm curious, why? Not why, but it was just curious. It was just a curious little thing I noticed.
As an adult viewing, there were the cameos, and I caught a couple of adult humor jokes, but there was less of them than I thought. But I don't think there was enough that it would have been considered nowadays there's a lot to offer for adults watching kids movies that go over kids' heads that make it enjoyable for adults. So I still think it's a great kids movie, but I wouldn't say that, oh, it's great and you'll enjoy it to watch it. Mm-hmm. Other than the nostalgia factor.
Yes, I'm with you on that.
Oh, another thing I wanted to mention was there were good father-daughter
I was going to say the duo.
Yeah, they had a good
chemistry
together. I think they also had Casper and his dad were a good duo, or his stories of his dad at least were.
Is
a
that
good duo.
Camaraderie?
Yeah,
between the two,
because they both didn't have moms. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have the absentee parent a little bit, and to a point, Harvey was a little bit because he was kind of getting lost trying to find Amelia, but they were
solid.
Yeah,
and I feel like nowadays, a lot of kids movies, it's parents don't understand, so it's kids versus parents, and it wasn't.
No,
yeah,
no. They were a team. Yeah. I liked that. That was something I don't know if I wrote it down, but it was something I wanted to bring up. And how he really was a a loving, doting father, but not like too much. He was also kind of a cool dad.
He talked about it with Amelia that he thought he was not doing a good job. And she's like, no, you are. And I think he was insecure about that.
Yeah.
And they even I thought there was a cute moment where she was like, I want to look nice. I want to look date nice.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, she's growing up and I've missed this. And, and she's like, how? And she's like, oh, Dad, you're late for that. And he's like, how late? And she's like, no.
Not that late.
Right.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a cute, like, all right, she's turning into a teenager. How am I going to do this, new phase of her life?
Yeah.
And, it was cute.
It was cute. So we are going to add a question to our martini shot. So first question is actually going to be called the millennial shot. Would you show this to your kids if you were to have kids? Nephews, nieces?
I would. I think it's
What's
funny.
The age? Sorry.
I don't know, because I have a bad time, like kids are afraid of things now.
But on the other hand, I watched Star Wars when I was 2. You know,
like I feel like I would be okay with traumatizing a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, I would show this to my kids.
Same here.
I definitely would want my kids to see this movie because it's something I grew up with watching, hundreds of times. I feel like I would probably I would wait until they were maybe 10.
Okay.
Fair. But then you would.
But then I would.
Yeah.
Or maybe just find the bleeped version and show it to them when they're younger. Like I watched it at 9.
Earmuffs.
Yeah. So I would minus I'm just like a stickler. It bothers me when kids swear. It bothers me a lot more than it probably should.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So the martini question, would you recommend this to the next generation? Objectively speaking, do you think Gen Z, Gen Alpha should be watching this movie?
What's the age range of those?
Anyone born after 1996?
I don't think they would appreciate it.
I don't think so either.
I like it because of the 90s fashion, that kind of thing. They had a Polaroid camera. They didn't take selfies. They were having issues.
Oh my God, I wrote Polaroid camera before I was hipster.
Yeah. I don't think it's the best example. If I really wanted to show them something 90s,
it doesn't transcend the 90s.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And like even the cute boy, they'd be like, why is he cute? Because he's 90s cute.
Yeah.
He's got the 90s hair, and even he was supposed to be born whatever, he still was 90s cute. So I don't think they wouldn't like it.
I absolutely agree with you.
They wouldn't appreciate it.
All right, so yes to your kids, no to other people's kids.
Yeah. I mean,
all right. Good first episode, guys.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
I'm loving it.
All right, for our next movie, normally what we would do at this point in the podcast is we would pick a random other next movie to watch, and we would announce it. We already know what movie we're going to watch, and the reason is because somebody thought this was the movie we were watching for this episode.
I done messed up.
So next time, we will be reviewing A Knight's Tale.
Yay!
I'm so excited. R.I.P. Heath Ledger. I love him, and I have not watched this movie since he died because
it hurts.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched any of his movies since he's died because it does hurt. He was.
Let's remember him at his best, which is
A Knight's Tale. Oh,
10 Things, A Knight's Tale, right around there.
Yeah, things really took a turn.
Good. All right. So, thanks for joining us. If you like what you hear, you can find more great episodes over on our website, www.millennialsatthemoviehouse.com, or wherever you find your podcasts. Curious about updates, extras from our episodes, or want to add your 2 cents about a reviewed movie? We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle for both is @themoviemillies. Check us out and make sure to follow us. So until next time,
we're millennials, and we'll see you at the movie house.